welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to the I See You Joan Miro exhibition, group exhibition. And we're going to be interviewing Sulja today. Gemma, who is the curator, Gemma Garcia, is away sick today, so I'm standing in for her. So, Sulja, we're sitting in front of and behind some of your works. Quite an array here.
Don't think so.
For this show, all 7 artists have tried to relate their works to the iconic Spanish Catalan 20th century surreal abstract artist Joan Miro. And Sulja, I'll be interested to hear how you related to him through your work. So, what aspects of Joan Miro's work most influenced your own artworks for this exhibition, and how did you incorporate those elements into your own style?
Well, Miro's been in my art consciousness for many years, and probably with all of us here, we know of him and know his work. So when I was invited into this show around Joan Miro, I realised I had no real connection with him as an artist other than knowing about his work, and hadn't really influenced anything that I'd ever done, whether it's been in 2D or 3D. So it gave me the chance to actually research his life. And what I found, he has such a long and huge career, such a varied career, working in not only painting, printmaking, ceramics, sculpture in different mediums. So he was just really inspirational as a creative being who was fearless in the mediums that he wanted to express himself in. But also, as you can see from the works over there that Yaro did, he invented his own kind of specific language and imagery, which once you see the works you go, that's Miro, that's Miro. And I guess in a way, that's what every artist aspires to, is to have some kind of signature style or way of communicating with people. Go, oh yeah, that's Miro, or that's blah, blah, blah. So I guess in a way of influence was just to have the inspiration through the strength of another artist to go in a new direction with the work. And some of the works that I did, particularly the bronzes in this show, I've never done before, but it's something that I wanted to do. And I just went, oh, what the hell, Miro, thank you for giving me the pass, I'm going to do it. And that's what happened with me. That's how it influenced me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what personal connection or interpretation inspired by Joan Miro did you bring to your artworks in this exhibition, and how do you think it reflects your own artistic voice?
One of the things about Miro, and he lived to a ripe old age, like 90 or something or more, through a whole range of eras in the world. Like he started around, when was he born, 1890s? First World War, Spanish War, Second World War, revolutions all over the world. And in that, his engagement was always to do social justice. He could see the inherent evils in some aspects of fascism, well, all the aspects of fascism, rampant capitalism, and he talked about it from a Marxist perspective in his voice, but also in his paintings. Some of the things really overt and some of the things covert. So I guess how he speaks to me is a man with a compassion for human life, love of nature, love of humanity, and not scared to say something. So the works here do reference what's happening in the world in a social justice aspect, and that was part of a deliberate intention to connect with Miro and his output and his heart, really.
Do you want to give examples by actually talking about which aspect in which piece of work that can be seen?
Oh yeah. So in this particular work, we have people with no eyes, who can't see, but who are one-eyed. They've just got one point of view. They're struggling for the point of view. There's a whole lot of silos of thought which people are locked in. No one knows how to get into the silos or how to get out of the silos, but they are forcibly one-eyed. Mother Nature is just going, oh yeah, you're screwing it up. You're fucking it up. What can I do? And while they're doing all this piece is called Gravity, is that the whole situation of the world, sustainability, global warming, and issues of that, they're just ignored over and over again because of the silos of thought that keep people locked in through their one-eyed vision. That's what that piece manifests itself as. This piece here, called Pram, well, you know, it really references Gaza and also Ukraine, and the whole idea of pacification. 20,000 or so children, it makes me cry, killed. America supplying the bombs, Joe Biden, good old Uncle Joe, that's where the fucking bombs come from. And straight into the baby's pram. So that manifests as that. And these avatars, these children's toys really were referencing innocence and childhood and how people look away. That's how that came about. This really is about relationships. And this form here references that form, the sculpture. Bronze, as a thought form, we don't really know what anyone else is thinking. We don't really know where anyone else is coming from. We think we do, and we embrace them through connections through our mouth, through our eyes and our mind, through our heart, and through the motion through life. But we really are just guessing about what everyone's going on. We're hoping that we're all on the same track and the right track. That's basically how that came together. Magically out of the ether.
That's wonderful because it relates to Miro's connection with surrealism, that it's got this wonderful imaginative flights beyond just what you're looking at. It's wonderful. How do you see the influence of Joan Miro's abstract style in contemporary art, and where do you think your work fits within that context?
You know, I can't speak on that really because I'm not in any way an expert on Miro or can reference his art in contemporary art. I don't know how to adjust that to my own work, other than they aren't realism and they aren't photorealism, but they're out of the imagination. But at the same time, each work is a gift. Each work comes through a process of engaging with the space, and they abstract themselves. But I can't speak about Miro in the abstract world. I just don't know enough about it.
But you've touched on it anyway, because a lot of contemporary art has been able to work with that imagination and bringing things from the imagination. So
his body of work, when you research, is so vast and so broad. And when you see shots or video of him in his studio, he's got like not dozens of pieces, but many dozens of pieces, large, small, prints, sculptures, plastic, whatever it is. It's just one of those magnificent. He's just one of those magnificent beings who was able to create every day throughout his entire life. So obviously it's had a huge effect on contemporary art, surrealism. He's just one of those guys.
and abstraction.
And abstraction, yeah, and abstraction for sure.
That's possibly my phone. Let's ignore it. Okay, wonderful. What challenges did you encounter while creating your artwork for this exhibition, and how did you overcome them to achieve your final vision?
A number of challenges. One, fear of failure. You go there and you go, I'm going to be part of a public exhibition. Is it going to be crap? What's going to come out? What? It was a clean slate, an absolute clean slate. So that was one of the challenges. And then when the ideas coming through, to try and realise them in a way that you've got in your head. Like how do you manifest that into something onto a canvas? And then another challenge is if you draw something, in my case, one draws something, how do you get it onto the canvas? And then when you put it on the canvas, if it's wrong, how do you get it off and start again? So there's a process along the way which are all challenges. And I actually don't paint a lot. This is the first exhibition I've had in 15 years. So I don't do a lot of it. And so being rusty, my process was to do each one of these paintings. I did the drawings, then I did a full study in colour of the work. And then once the full study was done, realised how I was going to frame it and redo it what I wanted to be, and then did a version of the full colour study onto the canvas, and even then it's changed what I wanted to be and things were added to it. So the process was, one, understanding myself and getting beyond the fear. Two is understanding what the work wanted to be, because I didn't think it. It was totally inspirational. So to hold on to the inspiration without overthinking it and killing it. Well, that's what I tried to do, or tried not to do.
And I love the way that it's been drawn so delicate, and the fine surface on the canvas, the opposite to mine, which become gritty. So you've done this wonderful glass-like surface to even start with, which to my mind is sculptural, which is where your forte. Though these are wonderful too. Can you describe your creative process for any of your artworks and how it evolved from the initial concept to the final piece?
Well, I tell you one good way to do it is to do it with the sculptural forms, and have a look at this particular piece here, this bronze, which is thought form number 1. So that particular thought form, Hello Jack, how are you? Hey.
It's a taxi drive to Brisbane. Jim knows what it is.
Jack?
You went to Brisbane before?
No, I haven't.
Hello.
How are you? I'm just in the I'm right at the right time. We're just totally
Sorry,
wrong.
Holly.
No worries, Jack.
They're getting 2 chairs for
Thank
you.
you.
Welcome. There's 2 here.
It's 2 chairs. Very good.
So Jack, I'm just about to talk about a process of creating a work.
Right. Okay.
And to fill you in while we're waiting for the chairs, then, before Sulja does, this is an exhibition with 7 different artists using 7 different mediums, really, who all responded to the iconic Spanish 20th century artist Joan Miro in our own ways.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm really about this.
Thank you, Gemma. Wonderful. Okay.
Cool.
Back to you, Sul.
Let's just rewind. Yeah. What was the question again?
The question was, can you describe your creative process for any of your artworks, we've got 6 here, and how it evolved from the initial concept to the final piece?
Yes. The process is, 1, for me, turning up. Open the door, go in the studio, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. Oh, will I leave? Or will I stay? Turn up, right? Turn up in front of the piece. And then it involves sketching or something like that. So that's a particular bronze, or any of the bronze pieces of the 2D with. Just drawing the shape up, seeing what it might be, and then well, now I'm going to make it into something. Initially, that piece was made in plaster. This is my plaster maquette. So that's plaster. And I make that out of, once the drawing's done, I figured how am I going to make it 3D? And then this is, wire and plaster. And when that's all done, get a look. Then I cover the plaster in cardboard, and then I sand all that back. and then I sprayed the cardboard with Carduco, a few coats, to give it that silver look. And then I put 3 coats of lacquer on the top of that. Why would I do that? Well, I figured if I got the surface as clean as I wanted and exactly how I wanted, part of it is with something like this is chasing the light. It's all about the light, because if the light's wiggly, wobbly, it's not going to work for me. So to get the light right, I had to have the clean, smooth surface finished. So when I got the bronze done, they didn't have a hell of a lot of work to do or change what I wanted. So they got 100% what I wanted. And then, for that process, I'm just going to show you this. Open that up.
Wow.
So then I went to the foundry, because part of it is to make a wax to get that cast, you've got to make a silicone mould. But I didn't have the skills to make the mould for that. So I took it to the foundry, which is called Curator in Brendale, and this is the silicone. And look how beautifully keyed it is and everything. So they make the silicone, and then they make the fiberglass over the silicone. So that's in 2 pieces, and you pay for that. That's why these bronzes cost a lot, because it's the process. And if you're paying someone else, you're paying for the process. So you got the silicone in 2 pieces, and they managed to do it in 2 pieces. Originally they thought they might do it in 4, but did it in 2. So that all fits together with bolts. And in the top here, they pour the hot wax, this is a green wax, slow it around, pour it around, and this is a wax which didn't work for the flame. So you can see once it's been in the silicone, it's hollow, got a certain thickness. Then this wax, or the wax from that, is then covered in a ceramic shell, complete ceramic shell. Then the wax is burnt out, and then the bronze is poured into the ceramic shell. Then that's cracked open, and all the kind of sprues and bits and pieces and fins are cut off, and they finish it off. Now, in my original, all those markings are in the original. I lost some of the detail, but whatever you put in, they should maintain without the foundry workers putting any information on it that you don't want. You don't necessarily want them to start carving or doing things you want. So try to give them something exactly as they've got the finish to be, and then be there while they're finishing. So then once that's all done, it's sandblasted, and then it's patinated. And the patination process is with chemicals and heat. So they've got different acids and different formulas. Paint it on, hit it with a torch, it'll change colour. Red, brown, bronze, and green. With this one here, the thought form, I was in the foundry doing these with the foundry master, and then I took that one home and I wasn't really comfortable. When I had it before the exhibition, or when I had it, I kept looking at it and thinking, it somehow died. It somehow didn't have the energy that it should have had, say compared to even that one. And the reason for that is when I woke up to it was the ends were brown, and there was no shine underneath them. And the reason for that is, once they were sandblasted, they took away the polish. And so once the patination is done, and the sandblasting holds the patination, they were too dull. So then I rang up the foundry master and I said, look, I want to redo that one, because I'm not happy with the patination. So I took the wax off the ends, sanded it, highly polished it, took it back to the foundry and re-waxed it to get the look. So the process is there, like, once you look at it, it's not necessarily finished, you just got to finish it up. So that was the result I was happy with, but it was a process that gets to that. And, well, basically, that's all I got to say about that process. Yeah.
So when you said you draw it, is that freehand drawing or is that a digital process?
No, it's freehand, so I draw it, and then I'll get the ruler, the protractor, and get all the angles completely right. Get it up and then try and draw it in 3D. And when I've got that drawing, then go, okay, now make it in the dimensions that you want them. Yeah, they weren't drawn on CAD or anything, just pencil really.
Or charcoal.
Oh, really? Sorry, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have a core in that?
Yes,
So it's a shell of old
it's a shell mold. But if you lift that up, anyone can lift it up. Now, if you lift that up, it's very light. If you lift this up, it's very light, it's hollow.
Yeah.
That is heavy, it weighs a ton. What has happened? So imagine this is hollow. Before they cast it in bronze, they pour a slurry into that so that it's hollow. And because of the base. This form here had no hole to pour in. So what they do is, they cut a section out of the wax, quite a big section out of the wax, then they pour the slurry into the wax. They cast this bit with the hole and that bit which is cut out separately. Afterwards, they then dig, supposedly, the cork from the outside, get the plate that they've cut out, put it back, weld it back together, sand it on, and give it a finish. So it's that particular process. But this one here, because of the shapes, when we did it in two parts, these things are solid. That's why it weighs so much.
Because of the slurry not coming out.
Yeah, because they're not coming out. Exactly right. Yeah.
That's good. Brendan, could I feel the one that you've got, the original plaster master? That you
Silver one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't drop it.
No, definitely not. So, Brendan, this is how beautiful it is. That's funny. Yeah, you got it, it's pretty awkward.
Very abstract. It's called thought form.
Thought form.
So there's a lot of work in this one, isn't there?
There's a lot of work to do in the market, yeah. To make it out of plaster.
Plastic?
Yes, it's plaster, yeah.
And then cardboard.
What's that?
Well, it's like a hardened acrylic. Well, no,
Like a putty. Some kind of hardened putty,
Usually
yeah.
two-part resin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
It's amazing as well as the finished
As itself, yeah.
and it's painted with Curator to make it shiny and smooth.
See how smooth it is.
So you can sit it like in your, you could hang stuff on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
actually with a form like this, part of the design aspect is that it becomes other things when you display it.
Yes, that's the moment.
Tomorrow, yeah, you probably felt that when you were going through it. Yeah, you can move it around.
Move it around,
Yeah,
yeah.
it becomes different things.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Yeah.
it's not a right way out.
There's not a right way. No, it depends on your own mind, and you go, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't.
That one's giving the finger.
Feels like a thumb up.
Feels like elbows. It feels like elbows and arms
Yes.
and legs.
Yes.
And from here, it's like a bird. And from this end, it looks like a dolphin.
Dolphin.
Dolphins there. The dolphins there. So that had it come about.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So my other question is, tell us about the musical aspect of this particular sculpture.
That sculpture is, in a way, well, not in a way, in my mind, connected to Ukraine. In the sense that when I was going to name this, I didn't really know what to name it, but it's named ode to Perun. And Perun is the Slavic god, made of the northern and eastern Slavs, and it was the main god in Ukraine before Christianity.
Yeah.
And it's still worshipped in parts of Ukraine as a god figure. So, and Perun is the god of thunder, lightning, war, blacksmithing, things like that. And I put grandfather clock chimes in there just to calm Perun down. Say, calm down, Perun. We've had enough of this. We need something quieter and softer. So that's how that came about. The model itself wasn't waxed. I'll just tell you if you're interested how I made that. It was actually cut out of MDF board. and I added these elements to it, and I cast that myself in sand, the sand casting, and then I cleaned it up, and it was quite flat, and then I twisted it to make that particular shape, to make the movement, and then I cut all these fins into it and did all the sort of engraving into it with another tool. But I cast that one myself. That one is in the foundry, and thought was in the foundry. But the patination of that was done at the foundry.
Is that a bronze casting as well?
Pardon?
Is it bronze cast?
I would say it's more brass than bronze,
Okay.
because there was a whole lot of scrap that I had, that I put together, brass, bronze, brass.
You've got a backyard furnace, haven't you?
Pardon?
You've got a backyard furnace.
Oh, that was when I had one back in the day.
I like how it's played with a knitting needle. I find that really moving.
So, just to summarise, there are 3 sculptures. The flying one, which we felt in wax.
The first one, yeah, the wax, yeah.
Laid on the field, and then the multi-faceted one.
Faceted one, yeah.
And then the musical one. So, that's interesting. So, you cover a lot of things in those 3, don't you?
Absolutely.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. And once again, they manifest themselves. This one here, the Guards of Flame, hit me when we were talking before, and I do get emotional, I know we all do, about how many children have been killed in the conflict. Not hundreds, but thousands.
The flame one's good because it's got the molten, you can smell it, you can feel it, you can... The only thing it doesn't have is the sound.
But it's
Aha.
yeah, good point. There is a casting of it in bronze.
Oh, okay.
So it was...
Yeah.
It was, okay, I'm going to try and explain it. You'll have to help me. Sulja's made the master, and then he's had a cast in wax, and then they used what they call the lost wax process. The wax is melted out and replaced with molten metal.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It has to be.
And you know what, Brenda, afterwards, you know how you touched the one that Irene's holding now, the one you were caressing.
Beautiful.
Afterwards, get him try and lift that one up to see the difference between the bronze and the plaster casting. You'll need 2 hands and a crane.
We'll get the real one after the one that it was cast in.
Oh, I'll be able to pick it up, don't you worry.
Oh, I reckon you would, but you'll see the difference in weight anyway.
And the bronze casting is so amazing to watch that they have to melt the bronze at 12 to 1500 degrees centigrade. And it goes this
Oh, try not to get burned.
red, yeah, wonderful fire colour.
And how much are they worth?
The one there behind you, the one that you were caressing in bronze, just under $5,000.
Yeah.
Thought form.
The other ones are around 3,000.
Did you do
Oh, maybe we should put in a little tip into the NDIS.
Yeah. Good on you, Brendan. Do that.
Did you do multiple ones? Did you?
No. Oh, that's horrendously expensive. No, I've got the model.
Engagement.
Pardon?
Oh, he's trying to justify getting NDIs to pay for it.
Tell him you really need it, Brendan. To caress. No, I didn't make multiples because it's horrendously expensive to do. And for the show, it wasn't going to be a selling show, really.
But could you use it? Sorry, could you use it to make another one?
Oh, absolutely.
So you
For now, I've got this one here. I made this silicone mold myself and the plaster mold like that myself. That was cast from it, and I can pour wax into any of them and get them recast in multiples now that I've got it.
Yes.
And how it really works with bronze, which another artist told me, you've got to do it in sessions of 3 to cover your costs. 1, so the artist has a copy. Most artists do that. 2, to pay for the foundry cost of the 3 of them. And the 3rd one, to pay all the gallery commissions, and insurances, and to make any money you're going to make will come off the 3rd one, but you won't make any off the 1st one or the 2nd one. You just won't, and particularly if you want to keep one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So really, without issue of 3, the artist is basically just doing it out of their own pocket for the sake of it.
Which piece came the quickest like this? That just came out easily and each piece took the longest?
That's a
Was the
very
hardest?
good
Great
question.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question. Haven't contemplated. I think in a way, the thought form, which in a way is most complex, was the one that engaged me first. And to put that in the context, I actually made 5 plaster models, all different shapes and sizes, before I cast that one. And one of the reasons that I cast that one, I broke 4 of the models, and they were all life size, like the grey one that you've got. And because plaster is not strong, and if I knocked one off the workbench. We had one on our side table. We were having a dinner party one night. One of Sharma's artworks fell off the wall, hit the side table, hit this really beautiful model, knocked it on the floor and shattered into pieces. Another one was in my workshop, sitting on the bench, and I was moving this piece of tin, but I moved it around, I knocked it onto the concrete floor. That smashed. I had one other one, which is really nice. I put it out in the garden just to see how long it would last in nature, because it had all the finishes and the carved finish and everything. And one day I was doing some gardening and I thought, I fucking hate this thing. And I grabbed it and I chucked it in the bin because it was bin day and it was gone. And the next day I went, gee, why did I do that? I didn't hate it that much. So I had one left, was that one. In a way that came easiest because I was in the sort of zone of drawing and doing all the modelling. The other ones were painful, like that one with the pram. To me, I didn't do it, it just manifested. It emotionally hits me very strongly as a piece. But to finish it and to get to that image took a number of iterations. And that wasn't hard work, it was an emotional process that wasn't realised until I had those 2 blue figures in there.
Any other questions? Well, maybe we'll wind up. That was fantastic.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Thank you very much.
One more question.
Yeah.
When's the next exhibition?
Yeah.
You'd have to ask Charlotte, she's the one.